Yo guys, what is going on? It's your boy Hollywood Steve back with another video. Alright. This is my first video on Tna Impact. This is a first review of Tna Impact. So, let's get right into things, shall we? Tna champion Frankie Kazarian says he's leading Tna into a new era on AMC. So if you guys don't know, TNA is moving to AMC January 15th. TNA is finally going to be back on cable television, which they have not been on for a very, very long time. They were on Access for a while, and then cable companies got rid of Access. I don't know all the details on why cable companies don't have access right now. So TNA starting January 15th is going to be on AMC. Every Thursday night you can get TNA starting at 8 o'clock. So back to the review here. Hold on, guys. Sorry. All right. Let's go to a different one. Hang on, guys. Bear with me here. We're gonna go to a different one here. We are gonna go to all right. We're gonna go to the results from bodyslam.net. So Frankie welcomes the crowd to the Champions show. He hypes his victory over JDC at Final Resolution. He says he'll be the one to usher TNA into the new era, the era of AMC. He says he's the face of the company, and that he is going to be the champion for a very long time. So people better get used to it. Santana comes out through the crowd and interrupts. Tells Frankie to shut the heck up. Santana hypes the El Paso crowd. Santana says Frankie saw, took, seized an opportunity. He said he's channeling his anger for now, but he wants Frankie watching because he has a target on his head. Santana hypes the steel cage match as part of TNA next week. Once he locks himself in the cage with NXT and beats them, he's going to pull the trigger on the target. It'll be at the TNA Genesis pay-per-view on January 17th. We go backstage to the NXT team. Lexis King says TNA just doesn't die, and calls Matt Cardona nothing more than a backyard wrestler. High Rise talk about the Hardys and how they won the match last week, but lost their souls. Brooks says they're ready for next week. Stax calls Santino a bad father, but says they'll get what they want next week when they beat Team TNA. We get a hype clip from NXT this past weekend where Leon Slater was involved in a match last Saturday. Slater will be part of the number 1 contenders match for the NXT heavyweight title next Tuesday. Lexis King defeats Matt Cardona via roll-up after a pin. Cardona was distracted by Stacks trying to hit him with the TNA International title. Post-match, Stacks and King beat down Cardona. Steve Macklin came out to make the save. Li Ying is backstage with Xia Li. When Xia Li says, Final Resolution was a tough match for her. If she won the match and the two respect each other, Xia says that they're still the Angel Warriors. Interrupted by Tessa, Victoria, Mila Moore, and Robert Stone. Tessa says, even though they lost, she's still a former TNA champion, something neither of them have ever done, and she can go back after that Knockouts World title anytime she wants. The Elegance, Heather and M by Elegance defeat Harley Hudson and Myla Grace via pinfall. And then there's a couple injury reports here. Cardona, Carson is out with a shoulder. Mustafa Ali abrasion, so he's day-to-day, and JDC has an injured hip, so he's questionable. And then backstage, Gia Miller is standing with Rich Swann. She asks Swann about his actions at the Final Resolution at Final Resolution, where he hit AJ Francis with the X Division title belt. Rich says he's a former X Division and world champion, and he's main evented lots of big events. Swann is tired of being disrespected and held down, and so First Class is done. AJ Francis attacks Rich and steps on him. He says Rich is being held down now. Francis reminds Swann that he is First Class, and that if you're not First Class, you're last. Cedric Alexander defeats BDE, Jason Hotch, Ryan Nemeth, Desmond Xavier, and Jake something after landing a pinfall on BDE. We go backstage. The System, Myers, and Edwards said they're going to find out tonight if Travis and Judas are worthy of the System. Eddie and JDC hang back after everybody walks away and have a moment. JDC tells Eddie that even though they're boys, he's going to bring it at Genesis. Eddie says he wouldn't have it any other way. Frankie confronts Santino backstage and tells Santino to fix the situation with Mike Santana, where he cashed in his contractual rematch. Frankie says he'll wrestle anybody but Santana. Santino says he should wrestle other people before them anyway. So he'll have a 20-person battle royal next week. And then in 3 weeks, Frankie will wrestle that person. Santino says he needs to figure out a replacement for Matt Cardona after he was injured earlier in the night. So Matt Cardona is out with a shoulder, sounds like. I read that wrong. So it's Matt Cardona who's out with a shoulder. The NXT group walk up and tell Santino that Cardona's injury is on him, and it's his fault. Then they tell Santino to just make it a 4-on-5 match, unless he wants to keep being a controlling father. Adriana slaps Stacks and the group walks away. Matt and Jeff Hardy come out to the ring. They both talk about defending TNA from the NXT invaders as they headed into their biggest year of the company yet. the AMC era. The Righteous, Dutch and Vincent. The Righteous. So the Righteous have arrived in TNA, guys. So if you aren't familiar with who the Righteous are, Vincent and Dutch, they are formerly of Ring of Honor, AEW. They were in AEW for like a hot second, but they were formerly ROH through and through, but they showed up and interrupted the Hardys. They introduce themselves and say they're not here to hurt them. Vincent says the Hardys are universally loved, like God standing among mortals. Dutch says it's an honor to be in the ring with the Hardys and they're wonderful fans. Vincent says they're coming because they're grateful. The Hardys changed tag team wrestling forever. Matt asks if they came out to interrupt them. Vincent says they came to wish them good luck next week in the steel cage match. Dutch says they'll be watching. Santino Marella comes out before the main event. He said Matt Cardona is unable to compete next week in the steel cage. He will replace Matt in the match. And we get a rundown clip of the matches for next week. And then we get the dog collar match, and I have seen the highlights of this match. Holy cow, man. Holy crap. This match between Danny Luna and Indy Hartwell. I did not know Indy Hartwell had this in her. Holy crap, dude. This was a bloody match. I mean, there was a ton of color. I encourage you guys, go back and watch this match, because this match just looked absolutely violent. Absolutely violent. Go back and watch this match, because this match looks so good. If this is a taste of what we're gonna get on AMC, I am all in, boys. I am all in, guys. I am 1,000,000% in. If this is what TNA is going to be, if this is what Impact is going to be every Thursday night, I am all in on Impact. So think about this. We're going to have Monday Night Raw on Netflix, Tuesday night NXT on the CW, Wednesday night Dynamite, Thursday night Impact on AMC. Okay, let me back up. Monday Night Raw on Netflix, NXT on Tuesday nights on the CW, AEW on TNT on Wednesday nights, Dynamite, Thursday night Impact on AMC, and Friday night SmackDown on USA. And then on TBS, AEW Collision. 6 days a week, guys. We are going to get wrestling. 6 days a week. That is the most wrestling consumption that I have ever seen. I have not seen in a long time this much wrestling in a 6 day time period. Monday through Saturday is wrestling on a weekly wrestling, either streaming or on cable TV. Hello. There's going to be so much content. There is going to be so much content to cover. I will do my absolute best to get it out. I will do my absolute best to get it out to you guys. But man, That is a lot of wrestling. Whoo, I cannot wait. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be awesome. So Dana Luna in a bloody, I mean absolutely brutal dog collar match defeats Dana Luna defeats Indy Hartwell in an absolute, as Sheamus would say, in an absolute banger of a match. Holy cow, dude. Oh my gosh. I just, unbelievable. Unbelievable. This match was like I said, look, if this is any indication of the level that TNA Impact is going to go on Thursday nights, wow. Just I'm looking forward to the production value that is going to be, that Impact is going to be on January 15th when they debut on AMC. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know what, I'm not sure like if WWE is going to have any input on like the production value, where, you know, staging, lighting, the whole thing. But if WWE has any input, any hand in this, in the debut of TNA Impact on AMC, you know the production value is going to be top notch. You know the production is going to be over the top. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But hey guys, thanks for watching. That was TNA Impact review from Thursday night. This is your boy Hollywood Steve saying I will catch you guys in the next one. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Remember, when you're Hollywood Steve, you're just too sweet.